Alright guys, been really good so far this season, haven't lost a game, but big test coming up now in the Chatham Cup, okay, because it's exactly the same with Western Suburbs. Now, we've had the wood over them recently, and they don't come to Christchurch often, so let's make the most of that. But this is our chance to knock them out of the Chatham Cup, and then hopefully we can go on. Might be playing Auckland City in the final. They're rubbish, who cares? Another Chatham Cup, more money, more facilities, more trophies for Shaun. Let's go, boys.
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 105 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both the All Whites and with Cashmere Technical. I hope you're doing well, and coming up today, going to start off the semi-final of the Chatham Cup, a big clash here as we take on Western Suburbs so far, the other unbeaten team in New Zealand this season, and if we beat them, we might go forward and play one of Auckland City or Napier City Rovers in the final. So looking forward to today's episode, which could be Chatham Cup themed, and do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But yesterday, we wrapped up the Southern League title with a few games in hand with a win over Otago Union. Also, we kept an eye on the World Cup final, so if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. To be fair, we haven't played too many games off the back of that to get forward to this Chatham Cup semi, just a couple, but this game did look quite big coming up, so I thought we would play it there. You can see that 9-0 win we picked up yesterday over Otago Uni. Since then, only 2 competitive games, a 5-1 win over Selwyn United away in the Southern League, so it does mean that we have our perfect record still going in that competition and the season, and backed it up nearly a month later with a 3-0 win over Christchurch United in a Southern League clash in the quarters of the Chatham Cup. So we've made our way into the semis of this competition. This game also only comes a couple of days off back of that quarterfinal, 3 days, so it does mean a few tired boys, thankfully not too many, so we can put out quite a strong team for this one. But you may notice there, a couple of new faces in the team that we have been playing in those last couple of games, and that's because I've done a few more transfers off the back of yesterday's episode to continue to strengthen here at Cashmere Tech. To be fair, this time they are all incoming transfers. No one's left the club from the first team, but a couple of players have come in, 4 of them. 2 of them could definitely feature during the course of today's episode. One of them is a bit of a fringe player with good potential, and the other's the same, but is just a bit of a gamble, especially on a non-contract. So we're going to start off here with the 2 players who could feature during today's episode, and one of them definitely should feature. Wally Khaled was a bit better than Tariq Nas. He actually comes in as the Mohamedou replacement, does the young Egyptian at 19 years old, just a little bit better than Tariq now with 3.5-star current ability and 4.5-star potential. Also, extra under 20 player who is first choice. That's quite useful in case one of Nian Kuru or Tio Demiro are struggling in upcoming games. So I think that's a good pickup on a free transfer there in Walid Khalid, formerly of Al Malik, and also coming in as a backup to Juan Carlos Castro is Marlon Deering, who is an English striker formerly of West Ham, albeit got most of his games over there while out on loan in the Championship at Wickham, 24 appearances and 9 goals. But another player here we've picked up on a free, and to be fair, he's exactly the same attribute-wise as Juan Carlos Castro in terms of overall attributes. Of course, some of them are different in other areas. A lot of flair and good finishing. He is a very handy backup, certainly better than what we had previously in Michael James Gilbert, as well as Brian Davis. We've picked up Marlon Deering on a free, formerly of West Ham United. Those 2 players should feature during the course of today's episode. And the other 2 we brought in is just in case players. Alan Bittencourt, quite a promising defender out of Brazil, 3-star current ability and 4-star potential. Actually wouldn't be too far away from All Whites quality. That's the reason that we've picked him up yet again on a non-contract. And the same applies to Musa Tiam, who is down in the B team with 2.5 stars current ability and 4 stars potential, is a bit of a central attacking midfielder who can also cover left wing as well as striker. So a couple of foreigners that we have brought in off back of yesterday's episode. It does mean even stronger going in to the National League Championship part of the season, which hopefully we can start to get through in today's episode before we make our way through to the Chatham Cup final. But before then, do need to take on Western Suburbs who have been pretty much perfect this season. Let's go and have a look at their schedule. They did lose a game, a testimonial, so I don't think that one counts because teams with those testimonials do sometimes get randomised a little bit, but they've been perfect apart from that, albeit just in the Chatham Cup, where to be fair, they haven't beaten too much so far, and also in the Central League, where you could argue exactly the same thing. Quick look at the Central League, already champions, 12 points clear of Wellington Olympic, who have recovered off the back of a slow start. But Western Suburbs, just like us, yet to lose a proper game so far this season. Someone's has to go in this game. Hopefully it will be theirs, especially because this one is at the GMP, and we can pick up a win to make our way through to yet another Chatham Cup final. And here are the team sheets for the semi-final clash against Western Suburbs, and rather ironically, both our new players are the ones on a heavy workload and cannot feature, so it does mean Gilbert on the bench and also Tariq Nah still at right wing, but apart from that, it's our first choice 11. There are Western Suburbs with a 4-3-3. Also forgot to mention before, one injury off the back of yesterday's episode, a major one too. Georgios Victoros, broken lower leg. He's gone for the rest of the season, 4 to 7 months, but we're underway now in the semi-final. Hopefully we can pick up a win, albeit 10 minutes in, first highlight here, a free kick to Western Suburbs. Villarreal floats that one far post, but thankfully that header goes just over the bar. Tariq Nah already on a yellow card. Let's get him to ease off tackles, but still 0-0 after 15 minutes. And a couple minutes on from that first highlight that we did see in this game, now we've got a free kick of our own here, albeit it is inside of our own half. Thankfully, the Nkuru does actually control that ball. Good here there to make sure we do keep hold of position. He gets the ball back here, starts to make his way down that right-hand side. Does the Phoenix Loney. Ciardiello can't quite get on the end of that one. Thankfully, does get on the end of the ball that gets headed away. No, now Smith cuts inside, tries to put that one top right corner. Really wanted that to be Ciardiello and not Smith because he blasts that one over the bar. Still 0-0 halfway through the first half. Now a free kick. Teodemiro will hit the post, but thankfully Castro, right place, right time. He wants to keep that starting spot over the bloke that we signed from West Ham and puts it away. To be fair, it would be a bit embarrassing if you missed that one because Chronopoulos tried to make the save because it went very close. Thankfully, he's there to put that one away and makes it 1-0. And we just make our way past the half-hour mark here, and Chronopoulos pumps this one deep for Western Suburbs up to Nkuru, and that's actually a nice ball over the top. Tariq Nah can get on the end of that one, make our way into the box, cuts inside, takes on a shot there. Chronopoulos just as to stand still, doesn't catch it. We get a chance here from set piece through a corner, but definitely putting the pressure now on Western Suburbs, who so far have done nothing off the back of that first shot they did have from a free kick. Nkuru plays that back to Evans. That's the end of that highlight. Bit of an average one to be fair, but off the back of that, we do have a free kick. And standing over this for a fair bit of time is the player who's going to be taking it, and that is Teodemiro. Our centre-back is on the free kicks here at Cashmere Technical. Just plays this one forward to Sam Clarkson. Wonderful short passing, Castro to Ciardiello, who was onside. That is a very good short free kick routine. Those work really well on FM24. Definitely feels like they're a bit more effective than the usual free kicks, albeit that might just be because we don't see them as often and we don't use them as often. Maybe need to try using those a bit more than the other ones. But there's a great goal there from Ciardiello, our Italian left winger, to make it 2-0 on a highlight. Shortly off the back of that, one more goal might put this one to bed before half-time. The Nkuru on the edge of the box just makes his way there. Good tackle from Thomas. We do get it back though. Thankfully, Evans in there for Clark back out to Nkuru. He'll find there Tariq Nah, who'll put that one past Chronopoulos at the near post, a quick fire double, and that might put this one to bed before half-time. Western Suburbs haven't had to come to Christchurch too often so far in the save, and they don't enjoy the cold here in the South Island. We are pumping them here at the GMP. Good goal before by Ciardiello, backed up with one from our right winger and Tariq Nah to give us a 3-goal lead. And just making our way now into injury time in this first half, a late highlight as we make our way into the last minute of that added time. It's a throw here for Western inside of the final third. Villarreal plays that one back to Mali Luluai. That's a heck of a strike, that one into the top right corner. Hawkins will get the ball. To be fair, I think half-time's coming up pretty shortly. Don't think a quick restart will do too much at this point, but that really good goal. Villarreal will pick up the assist, but to be fair, most of that work is done by Luluai. One touch and bumps that one into the top right corner. Does the centre-back come defensive midfielder, a player who we did select early on in an all-white squad in the save these days. Not that good compared to some of the other players who have come through from New Zealand, but that does close the gap to 2 at half-time. Tariq Nah on a yellow card, but to be fair, we don't really have right-wing cover on the bench probably. Should have Nathan Walker on there instead of Chris Greenidge. Might fix that for the next game. So I think that does mean you have to leave Nah out there on a yellow card. To be fair, he has scored a goal, is playing quite well. We are playing well, but they just grab a goal back late there in the first half to maybe keep this one interesting and make it 3-1. And 10 minutes in here to the second half, now Teo DeMiro's picked up a yellow card. We need to kind of keep him on as an under-20 player, but also Louis Evans can play centre-back, and we do have Jack Honey on the bench, so it could be a bit of a shuffle-up coming up here for most of the second half, seeing as Jack Honey is not too bad in defensive midfield, so he'll come on for Teo DeMiro. That makes sure we've got our under-20 quota filled. He'll play defensive midfield. Louis Evans will try him out at centre-back. Hopefully still going to be okay with a 3-1 lead. And thankfully, so far, nothing too bad's happened off the back of putting Louis Evans to centre-back. No highlights so far. And now Sam Clark's gone down to a red heart. So Tristan Turner, he can come on with our second to last sub, but thankfully going pretty well here with this 3-1 lead. 20 minutes left. Western Suburbs starting to run out of time. And in fact, only a few minutes on from that second sub, now it's time for our last one. CR Diallo has gone down to a red heart. Young Chris Greenidge can come on for him. Still 3-1 Cashmere. And just about to make our way into the last 10 minutes of this game and finally get a highlight here in the second half, trying to make our way out from the back, off the back of a goal kick. We play it forward there to Tariq Nah. Tries to switch here to Greenidge. Thankfully, really loose touch that from the Western Suburbs player does mean we're a bit lucky to keep hold of the ball. Greenidge gets that one back. That would have been from McGoldrick. Did end up going with Louis Evans as the ball playing defender forward. It made sense seeing as he does usually play a bit further forward, but eventually we play that ball out to Tresson the Nkuru right on the edge of the box. Good tackle there from Thomas, but rather fortunately we do keep hold of the ball. Tristan Turner tries to put that one top right corner. Decent effort, but that one comes off the woodwork this time. No one there to poke it home like in the first half with Castro off the back of that Teo DeMiro free kick. A highlight for off the back of that, and good work that time from Greenidge to win the ball back for us. That goes there to Turner and back to Xavier Smith. Now Jake Honey plays that one forward nicely to Nah, and the Nkuru finds himself in a ton of space, plays that one back forward to Nah. Lovely ball that one, 4-1 Carlos Castro, and he was onside, so it's going to count. That will definitely put this one to bed. That makes it 4-1 Castro, gets on a hat-trick late here in this Chatham Cup semi-final, and a good win here against the team who so far this season have been undefeated, apart from that testimonial game. But as I said, don't think we can count that one, but that's a wonderfully worked goal down our right-hand side. Castro puts it away, and we take a 4-1 lead. And we're just making our way down to 4 minutes of added time in this Chatham Cup semi-final. Thankfully, it's actually been a pretty comfortable win for us in this game. 3-0 up at half-time obviously made a big difference. Actually 3-1, of course, Luai with that late goal. To be fair, though, Western Suburbs didn't offer too much apart from that and the early free kick, which got headed over the bar. Grabbed a late goal there through Castro, who picked up a double. To be fair, Tariq Nah did quite well coming in for the slightly tired new signing from Egypt, whose name I've forgot. Waleed something. I think it might be Khaled. DJ Khaled's ringing a bell for some reason. But anyway, he should be back for the final, which we'll show you guys second up in today's episode. Might actually have to play a couple of National League Championship games before then, as well as some Southern League games. We'll just go forward and see if we can find out who will be taking on in the Chatham Cup final. But that is a very good win, as I said, especially considering Western Suburbs undefeated in competitive games this season up until then. So we'll take that one at the GMP and go forward and see who won the other semi if we can. And indeed, it is Auckland City will take on in the final off the back of a 2-0 win. Late goals there in the first half through Rosa. So that sets up the old derby here in New Zealand so far since we made the move to Cashmere Tech, as we'll take on Auckland City in the final after knocking out Western Suburbs. So a pretty good win for us there first up in today's episode in that semi-final to knock out Western Suburbs. Off the back of that, played 3 games to complete the Southern League and also the first 3 games of the National League Championships. So first up, let's show you what happened in the domestic leagues as well as our last couple of games of the Southern League. Unsurprisingly, we won all of them, starting off with a 3-1 win over Otago Uni, 4-0 over Ferrymead Bays, and wrapped it up with a 5-0 win over Nelson Suburbs. So that's how things finished for us before the championship phase of the National League. Here's what the Southern League looked like perfect record. Jeremy Bay is 19 points behind us, which is quite a big margin, but they actually go through as the second team despite the fact they really limped there late in the season. They are the other team that makes their way through to the National League Championship. It does mean got an extra derby to play this season. Mosgiel, they go down, but to be fair, pretty tight race all the way between them and Western Suburbs for that relegation spot this season. Thankfully, my local club did not go down, going up now to the Central League. Western Suburbs lost in the Chatham Cup, but perfect record in the Central League. Wellington Olympic recovered well to finish second, albeit 20 points behind Western Suburbs. So this one quite similar to the Southern League with us. And Napier City Rovers, yet again, just sneak their way through into the National League Championship. And Petone, they go down a few points below both Miramar Rangers and the Palmerston North teams. And going up to the Northern League, Auckland City picked this one up by 16 points to be fair. Behind Auckland United for a wee way of the season, but I think that was because of the Champions League and the fact they had quite a few games in hand, but Auckland United second, Ruawahia third, and Manurewa, they come fourth. The teams getting relegated are Birkenhead and Manukau United. That's what's happened in the domestic leagues. And as I said, we've played our first 3 games of the National League Championship, and thankfully done pretty well in these. First up, rematch from that semi-final big first game as we took on Western Suburbs, picked up a 3-1 win, 2 goals to Castro, 1 in the second half from the penalty spot. Off the back of that, they grabbed one back, Western Suburbs, through Junior Deval, but thankfully Teo DeMiro popped up with a goal from a corner very late to make sure we beat them by 2 goals. Off the back of that, we played the derby against Jeremy Bays, pumped them 7-1. Walid Khaled, that's the guy that we signed, who's first choice from Egypt. He scored 4 in this game, albeit an injury to our left winger in Giorgio Ciardiello. We'll touch on that shortly, but thankfully we are still unbeaten in the National League Championship because we rotated and picked up a 4-2 win over Ruawahia thanks to 3 first half goals there. They did win the second half. Nathan Lobo, one of our former AFC Auckland players, did score against us, but thankfully just do enough to hold on to. So far, we are on top, the only unbeaten team in the National League Championship. The Phoenix Reserves actually in second spot. That would be a different final. Auckland City and Western Suburbs not too far behind, and neither are Auckland United. That's what's happening early stages of the National League Championship. But this does mean quite an interesting game coming up in the Chatham Cup final as we take on Auckland City right off the back of a defeat to Auckland United, the team who were above them for a little bit of that Northern League season, as I said, probably because of Champions League and fixtures being put back, but still, that's a surprising result, quite similar to before we took them on in the Champions League semi-finals earlier this season. Hopefully we can beat them again in a big game, and especially because this one, again, is at the GMP. Unfortunately, though, another injury, as you saw, to our left winger in Giorgio Ciardiello. He joins Georgios Victoros in the casualty awards at the moment. Don't want to have Giorgio in your name here at Cashmere Tech. Not as bad as Victoros, but still, we'll keep him out for a fair while. Sprained knee ligaments there in the derby. He is out for 3 to 6 weeks. That is a bit disappointing. Been pretty good for us so far. 5 appearances and 4 goals, but thankfully still got Kevin Mina, so it shouldn't hurt us too much. But thankfully, that's the only first team injury concern to a starter going in to this final. Hopefully can pick up the Chatham Cup yet again and hand Auckland City another loss. And here are the team sheets for the Chatham Cup final. A couple of changes from that first game. As you can see, Deering makes his way on the bench. Also Walker, and as well as that, Mina at left wing with the injury to Ciardiello, but pretty much first choice for this one. Auckland City, they are also going with a 4-2-3 these days. They're just trying to copy me and see if they can beat us. Hopefully that won't be the case, and we can win the Chatham Cup yet again. And it hasn't taken too long for the first highlight of this game. A free kick here, which Mina puts into the mixer. Teo DeMiro tries to loop that one over Little Coxon goal there for Auckland City, but this time he's just big enough to handle it and get his hands all over that ball. But now he pumps it deep, and thankfully Smith wins that one in the air. Kevin Mina does some good work there down our left-hand side, thankfully still at the club. Very good addition coming in for the injured Ciardiello, to be fair, one of our players of the season. The last couple of times, Cox, not quite big enough to hang on to those balls, and Louis Evans can loft it over him into the bottom left corner. He's just a really rubbish Jordan pick for this Cox guy from England. I don't know why Auckland City haven't sacked him yet, but he's not very good. He's been pretty poor in most of the games we've played against him in the save, and that's the case yet again here, early stages of this final. He makes an error, Evans makes him pay and gives us a 1-0 lead. And just making our way into the last couple of minutes here of this first half, to be fair, things have slowed down quite a bit off the back of that opening goal. We did score, and even that was a bit fortunate mistake there from Cox and goal. We try and get on the attack here late in the first half. One more goal would be quite nice here before half time. Khalid makes his way into the box, but unfortunately can't put that one on the right side of the woodwork, and that's probably all he needed to do because Cox is pretty rubbish, but only 1-0 up at half time. To be fair, we haven't done a heck of a lot, but thankfully that's also the case with Auckland City. Castro struggling on a 6.4, and also Ollie McGoldrick on a yellow card. Thankfully, Isaac Hughes on the bench can cover both right back and centre back, so Hughes can come on for McGoldrick. Also, we will bring on here Marlon Deering in place of Castro. The West Ham man can get some game time here in a big one at Cashmere Tech, but I think that's all we'll do here at halftime. Just make sure that Hughes is better at central defender. Indeed, that is the case. Teo DeMiro, he can stay there as a ball playing one for the second half, doing okay. Definitely can do better in the second half and put these guys to bed, as we're currently only 1 goal in front. It hasn't taken long in the second half for the first time. It's actually a corner here to Auckland City. They get a hit on the end of that one through forward, but thankfully Hawkins can make a save, and he's big enough to hang on to those balls and starts to stride forward confidently here. Does our goalkeeper, pumps that one deep. Deering actually, I think, won that one in the air, then Auckland City do, but thankfully play that forward to Clark. Good work there from Mina off the back with a bit of a nibble at that ball from one of the Auckland City players. And we try and keep it here down this left-hand side. Mina starts to make his way infield and forward that pass there. Evans tries to take out Deering. Thankfully, Khalid, right place, right time. There's the DJ. Now Evans, Clark there, nice ball over the top for Mina, who heads it home. I thought he was onside, but the celebrations, they'll continue. Indeed, he's offside. That did look a bit too good to be true. So that goal does get ruled out, still 1-0. But we see the free kick off the back of that, and thankfully, little old Cox just gives that one to us. Anthony and Curry gets it back now down this right-hand side and can find himself in a little bit of space for some reason. Auckland City start to sag off here, the right back from the Phoenix. Evans plays that one across to Clark, now goes in there for Mina, who takes on the shot in Cox. That's a really limp effort there from the Englishman in goal. He is a crap Jordan Pickford, as I said earlier, and that's a big goal now to give us a cushion lead, and Kevin Mina back in the team doing a good job. He will pick up a goal in the Chatham Cup final. First time finish, to be fair. Did take a deflection off forward, but still, that's pretty poor there from Cox. It is near post, and we make it 2-0. And quite a bit of action here early in the second half. Now a free kick here, which Negan Crew puts far post there for Khalid. Cox. Not sure if we would have got to that one, but thankfully for Auckland City, that header goes just over the bar. Still 2-0 at the hour mark. And just about to make our way into the last 20 minutes of this game, and Jamie Young's dropped down to a red heart. We've only got one sub left of those ones we made at halftime. Tristan Turner can do a job in central attacking midfield. We'll bring him on. That's actually one other change we made. Lorenzo Janssen was tied going into this final for some reason. We got to note that one down. So a couple of changes to our usual first choice, Levin Janssen, just on a bit of a heavy workload, but now we start to make our way into the last 10 minutes of this game. There is a highlight though, a goal kick in our favour. Hopefully don't give Auckland City a goal here. Give them a late sniff in this one. Try and take it to extra time. But Nyankuru, we're on the ball still, plays it forward to Khalid, and now Turner with some fresh legs. Interesting pass there. Thankfully Khalid can pick it up, albeit Evans does get that one off us. And Auckland City here with a chance to make their way out from the back. Cox will pump that one deep eventually, albeit it's a really poor ball, and Khalid can play that one forward to Tristan. Turner takes on the shot, but it goes over the woodwork. Auckland City still not up to a heck of a lot in this game, and only a few minutes off the back of that chance. They do have a free kick, but thankfully, I think that's Fortes puts that one well over the bar. Late chance there for Auckland City. Try and get themselves back into this game, but thankfully, they can't take it. They're a bit average this season, are Auckland City, when we've taken them on. To be fair, we also argue the same case for Western Suburbs, so it is looking like it might be another full trophy season for us here at Cashmere Technical, hopefully with complete and utter green dots, as so far we have not lost or drawn a single game, but that is another Chatham Cup to go in the trophy cabinet here at Cashmere Technical. The final was not up to too much, but thankfully we scored goals there, one in either half, and pick up the Chatham Cup here in 2034 off the back of a 2-0 win in the final over Auckland City. So good wins for us there during the course of today's episode in both those games on camera and also the games around that, especially those first couple in the National League Championship, currently the only unbeaten team in that. And we pick up the Chatham Cup yet again here at Cashmere Tech. That makes it 4 trophies this season, because of course they've already forgotten about the OFC Champions League, and that does now make it, how many Chatham Cups? That's 9, but I think it's around 6 out of 7 since we've come here to Cashmere Tech, and of course also quite a bit of money for winning that competition, which is very useful indeed because the finances were starting to go down a bit more than I thought, but thankfully we are back up now in the white, which is very good indeed. Hopefully that means if we win some more money by the end of the season, we can start to continue to improve the youth facilities here and also recruitment at Cashmere Tech, because that might mean we start to get a bit more out of our youth intakes here in this Build a Nation save. But that will do it for today's episode. We looked at the Chatham Cup yet again here at Cashmere Technical. If you enjoyed it and also the transfers that we made, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. We'll come back tomorrow, actually right off the back of that final that we have just played, because I'm pretty confident we'll make our way through to the National League Championship final, and with it being a short week, that's what I want to show you guys on Thursday. But before then, we've got an international window with the All Whites, our first one off the back of the FIFA World Cup. We take on Peru away from home. Those guys are down in 43rd on the world rankings, not that far below, so that could be an interesting game. And off the back, actually take on a team above us in the world rankings in Japan. That one from Mount Smart Stadium, Japan. Didn't do too well at the World Cup. Hopefully can make the most of that and beat a team above us on the world rankings. Also, interestingly, they're managed these days by the former Melbourne City, and before that, he was a former manager at Auckland United and Hiroshi Miyazawa's interesting progression there from one of our former A-League adversaries in the save. He is the Japanese manager. Hopefully that means we can beat him at international level and have a decent window and maybe make our way up those world rankings just a little bit more with the All Whites, but they'll be coming up tomorrow to internationals in the October window. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.